How to care for an amaryllis plant. Everyone loves decorating with holiday plants, such as Christmas cactus and poinsettia. But there's another type of plant that blooms around the holidays, and frankly, it's even more stunning. Amaryllis is a large bulb, sometimes as large as a softball, that produces gorgeous trumpet-shaped flowers with single or double petals in colors ranging from white to pink to deepest red. Amaryllis are very easy to grow, says Joanne van den Berg-Ohms, CEO of Van Engelen and John Scheepers bulbs. They provide beautiful color that lasts for weeks during the darkest days of winter, and they also make great cut blooms to display in vases. Here's what else you need to know to care for an amaryllis. How do I grow an amaryllis? Your amaryllis may come as a kit that contains a pot and potting soil, or as the bulb alone. In this case, get some fresh potting soil and a small pot. They like to be cozy in their pots, so find a container that's only about 1 inch wider all around than the bulb, says Van den Berg-Ohms. Place soil all around the bulb so that it extends about 3/4 of the way up the bulb. Make sure the top quarter of the bulb is peeking out. Press the soil down lightly all around to eliminate air pockets. It's also helpful to top the soil with pea gravel or little stones to give a little weight to the pot so it doesn't become top-heavy and tip over once the plant emerges. Make sure the pot has drainage holes, too, because amaryllis will not tolerate wet feet. Give it a good drink of room temperature water around the periphery of the bulb, not on the bulb itself. Place it in a brightly lit east or south-facing window, and then wait. It typically takes 4 to 6 weeks once potted to bloom. Do not water your amaryllis again until the green pops up. Overwatering before it breaks dormancy can affect root growth, says Van den Berg-Ohms. When you see the beginnings of the stalk and bud, either one may appear first, start watering regularly. Water every week or so, or when it feels dry on top. Poke your finger in the soil. If it's still moist, wait a few more days and check again. Don't let it stay wet, which is a common mistake that may cause your bulb to rot. How do I care for my amaryllis? Once your amaryllis has broken dormancy, rotate the pot every day or so to keep the stem growing nice and straight. When the bud itself starts to show some color, take the amaryllis out of the window and place it anywhere in the house to enjoy its colors. If the stem becomes floppy, simply cut your flower and enjoy in a vase. It will last just as long as it does in the pot, says Van den Berg-Ohms. It's fine to cut off spent blooms as they fade, but don't be too impatient to put your plant aside because it may send up a second or even a third stalk with flowers. Why didn't my amaryllis bloom in time for Christmas? Many different factors affect bloom time, including the variety of amaryllis, the environmental conditions, and when you potted it up. But the most important reason is that there actually are 2 types of amaryllis bulbs, those that are grown in South Africa, which tend to bloom in time for the holidays, and those that are grown in the Netherlands, which are not ready to pop out of dormancy until after the holidays during the winter months, says Van den Berg-Ohms. If yours is the latter, it may bloom at a later date but is just as lovely, and, frankly, who doesn't need a splash of bright color after the holidays are over anyhow? What should you do with an amaryllis bulb after it blooms? Don't toss it. It's worth a try to see if you can make it rebloom next year, and it's not as fussy about reblooming as other Christmas plants such as poinsettia, says Van den Berg-Ohms. After you remove the spent flowers, leave the stalk and foliage in place. Keep the plant in a bright sunny window until all danger of frost has passed, then place it outdoors in a sunny spot. Leave the foliage in place and water during dry spells. It's also fine to give it a diluted houseplant fertilizer once a month from May to July. By July 4th, bring the pot indoors and place in a dark, dry spot such as the basement or a closet. Ignore the pot, no watering, until Halloween. Then cut off the dead foliage, place the plant in a bright window, and water once. Then, just like the first time, don't water again until the greenery appears. With any luck, your amaryllis will bloom again. Is amaryllis toxic to pets? Unfortunately, according to the ASPCA, amaryllis is toxic to cats and dogs, so keep the plant out of their reach, especially if you know they're nibblers. But if you think your pet has eaten any of the bulb, leaves, or flowers, call your vet immediately.